Why should I care what you think, Dad? Humans only live for 100 years if they're lucky. Me and Mom will be here for thousands. Why should I care what you think, Dad? Humans only live for 100 years if they're lucky. Me and Mom will be here for thousands. The second the words left my lips, I knew I'd made a mistake. My father had never been an emotional man, but I saw his screwed jaw relax into a frown, and then soften to nothing. He took half a breath, opening his mouth to speak before reconsidering his words. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Dad. You're right. I've got 40 or so left. Good point. My dad shoved his hands in his pockets and backed out of the room, closing the door behind him as he did. I stared at the door for a moment. It was going to open right? He'd come back and scream at me, tell me that I'd been rude and that I shouldn't talk back to him like that, and it didn't open. He didn't come back. I'd wanted him to leave me alone. I'd won, right? This was what I wanted, and I flopped backward onto my bed and stared at the false starts on the ceiling for too long. I was right. He was only going to be here for 40 years. I'd still be in school when I was attending his funeral. What the hell? Was he even going to know where I worked? When I found a mate, when the door opened, I sat up. Dad was back in the doorway, his arms crossed as he leaned against the frame. He'd cleaned his glasses while he was out. Dad didn't speak for the first seconds, just taking several deep breaths. Was he building up courage? How much was he going to yell? I deserved all of it. I just wanted to know. Cass, he said. My name sounded so human when he shortened it. I just wanted to come back and Dad, I'm so sorry. Cass, he said, just let me finish. I came back because I was hurt by what you said. I know I'm sorry. I was hurt by what you said, but it's also just true. I need you to think about it the way that I do. Dad stepped into the room and joined me on the bed, sitting beside me while I crossed my legs to make room. I'm only going to be here for a short time in your life, right? Yeah, and I'm so. Cass, it's not about being sorry. But I should have talked to you about this more before. He put an arm on my shoulder. You're right, in the long term for you, what I think won't matter unless you make sure it does. What? Your mom has a whole lifetime to figure out what you mean to each other. Heck. You're gonna be an old lady before she's hitting 1,000. But Cass, I don't have that long. I know, and I'm sorry about what I said, I didn't mean. Kid. He squeezed my shoulder. It's not about being sorry. I don't have that long to make an impression on you, but I really want to ensure that I do. Dad. You don't have to care what I think, and there's no good reason why you should, Cass, but I hope you want to. That's my job, right? I can't only be a pest for 40 years. You need more lectures than that young yachty. Dad. Uck.